So here's the general form of a nested for loop in C. We have the outer loop that goes from 1 to n in steps of 1. And let's say that we have a compound action for the outer loop. So the action is going to include the inner loop. So you might have some statements before, you might have some statements after, but somewhere we have the inner loop, where we have another loop variable j, which goes from 1 to m in steps of 1. So when I has the value 1, we're going to execute the entire action of the outer loop, which includes going through the entire inner loop m times, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to m, whatever that is, and then the other statements. And when I has a value 2, once again, we go through the entire loop, which includes going through the entire inner loop. So here's an example of printing a box of stars. So we're going to end up printing a 5 by 3 box of stars. So we have an outer loop that loops 5 times and an inner loop that loops 3 times. So let's keep track of the loop variables. So I starts out at 1, and then we go to the inner loop, and j starts out at 1, and j is going to go up to 3 in steps of 1. And the action is just a single printf statement. So we're printing a single star, no new line or anything. Then j gets the value 2. 2 is still less than or equal to 3, so we execute the action and print another single star. Then j gets the value 3. That's still less than or equal to 3, so we execute the action and print another single star. Then j gets the value 4, and that's going to make the expression here false. 4 is not less than or equal to 3, so we get out of the loop and down to the next statement, which prints a new line character. So now the cursor moves down to the next line. And then I gets the value 2, and then we're going to go through the entire inner loop all over again. So j is going to go through the values 1, 2, 3, and for each value of j, 1, 2, 3, we're going to print a single star. And then when j gets out of the loop, when j has the value 4, we're going to print the new line character and move the cursor down. So 5 times altogether we're going to do this. We're going to loop to print 1, 2, 3 stars in the new line, 1, 2, 3 stars in the new line, 1, 2, 3 stars in the new line, and when I gets up to 6, that gets us out of the loop. So altogether we have a nested for loop where I goes from 1 to 5 in steps of 1, j goes from 1 to 3 in steps of 1. So we're printing a 5 by 3 box of stars, printing 3 single stars across each time, and then the new line character after all 3 have been printed. So here's a variation on the inner loop. In this case, we're also going to print some stars, and the outer loop is going to go 5 times. So once again, we're going to have 5 rows altogether. But in this case, j is going to go from 1 to I in steps of 1. So when I has the value 1, j starts out at 1. We're going to print a single star. Then j gets the value 2. 2 is not less than or equal to 1, so that gets us out of the loop and prints the new line character. Then I gets the value 2. J is going to go through the values from 1 to 2, and each time we're going to print a single star and then the new line character. Then when I gets the value 3, j is going to go from 1 to 3, so we're going to print 3 stars. Then when I is 4, j is going to go from 1 to 4, we print 4 stars. So we're printing I stars each time. So when I is 1, we're printing 1 star. When I is 2, we're printing 2 stars. When I is 3, we're printing 3 stars, and so forth. So again, the inner loop variable iterates from 1 to I. Here's a variation on that where we're actually using the outer loop variable, so we're printing it. So for each value of I, where I goes from 1 to 5 in steps of 1, we're going to start by printing the value of I in a colon. So we're going to print 1 colon and then 2 colon, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then, same as before, j is going to go from 1 to I in steps of 1. So when I is 1, we're going to print 1 star. When I is 2, we print 2 and 2 stars. When I is 3, we print 3 and 3 stars, and so forth. So now we're actually printing the outer loop variable. And now in this example, we're going to use both variables. What we're going to do is to print out a multiplication table. So notice that the outer loop I goes from 1 to 3 in steps of 1. The inner loop j goes from 1 to 4 in steps of 1. We're going to print the value of I times j. And after j has gone through all 4 values, we're going to print the new line. So we're going to end up printing a 3 by 4 table. So the outer loop again is 3. We're printing 1 row each time. The inner loop goes 1, 2, 3, 4. We're printing 4 values each time. So a 3 by 4 little box or table. Okay, so let's go through a little bit of detail. I starts at 1, j starts at 1, and we're printing 1 times 1, I times j. Then j gets the value of 2, and we're going to print 1 times 2. J gets the value 3, we're going to print 1 times 3. J gets the value 4, we print 1 times 4. Then j gets the value 5. That makes the condition false. 5 is not less than or equal to 4. So we go down to the next statement and print the new line character, so we move down to the next line. Then I gets the value 2. While I has the value 2, j is going to go through all the values 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're printing 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4. And when j gets the value 5, that'll print the new line character. And then I will get the value 3. Once again, j is going to go through all the values 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're printing 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4. When j gets the value 5, that gets us out of the loop.